Welcome back, my favorite gamers and developers. I have some more fun stuff to show you. So yesterday we covered how I'm using dice and it pulls from the attributes and the skills. Today we're going to cover combat actions. This is a way to help speed up the play by presetting which attack, which attribute and which skill will combine to make an attack. Sometimes with certain attack actions, you get some bonus dice. The damage might change. And so I created this action list to help with those rolls. So let's see what I got. So what I've created here is an actions container. And inside there, I've created these fields. So basically I have my sword and it has its attack information and it also has its damage information and if it uses any resources. In the attributes, I just pull from my attribute list that I showed you in a previous video. And it fills this out, it fills out the skills. And so for my sword, I'm going to use dexterity, fight. It has a +1 bonus and its difficulty is 6. I could then just take my sword and drop it onto my character sheet. And when I need to attack, I roll my attack. My dexterity is 2. My fight is 1. It had a bonus of 1. And showed the output here, dex 2, fight 1, attack bonus 1, difficulty 6. And I got 2 successes. This also works with if I get some additional dice or additional modifiers. So now I have a +2 modifier because I'm on ice. And I get +3 to my attack because somebody magicked my sword. So when I roll, I got my +3 bonus dice. The regular attack bonus that was part of the sword, dex 2, fight 1. And then it shows the difficulty is 8 because the base is 6 and bonus is 2. It also has, for example, if I add a boomstick on here and I go to roll, it's going to say I'm out of resources. I have this little resource field here, and that's because inside the boomstick, it shows that it has an attack, dex, shoot, dice bonus is 1, difficulty is 6. The damage, it doesn't use an attribute for whatever reason. The dice bonus is 3, and it uses 1 resource, so I need to have at least resource 1. So I add my resource 1, I try again, and it rolls my dice. It also shows on here that it had a resource cost 1 of 1, and so when I try again, of course, I'm back out of resources. So how'd I do it? Well, Ruleset Wizard actually made it really easy. Let me show you how. Now, I don't want to deceive anybody. Ruleset Wizard did make this a lot easier as compared to trying to do this in Notepad++. Having the toolbox that I can grab objects, drag over, drop, and the properties window to fill out the information available makes this process so much easier than trying to do it from scratch. So I start here with my character sheet combat page, and I just added a window list here. That's really all this piece is. And then I also am going to use the resource as I showed you in the video. My action detail, which is what shows up in this list, it might look a little weird on screen, but by the time it gets into Fantasy Grounds, it's fine. I made a left control and a right control, and then my background, I'm using the custom anchoring. And I set a right, a left, a top, a bottom. And the reason why is because I wanted it to be able to expand as the window changes. The pieces in here that have some code, obviously my attack and my damage button. In my attack, this first part is for a later video. I'm almost done with it, and it should be available for you all to see tomorrow. But I need to figure out who I am. Am I on the combat tracker, or am I a character running this? If so, I need to get my character node from a different place. After that, I have my regular declarations, and I check to see if I need to spend a resource. If the resource action from the action sheet, if the resource action from the action sheet is greater than 0, then that means I need to spend resources. And so it goes through this piece. Otherwise, it's going to go down to the attribute value. And then we first check to see if the attribute value is filled out up here for the attribute and order skill. It's both going to do the same thing. If it is filled out, then we're going to go through the process of actually getting it. Otherwise, we're not going to grab that data. Same thing with the skill. It's going to see is it filled out. If so, then it's going to go through the process of getting it. Otherwise, it's not going to go through this process. And then we have the dice bonus and the difficulty. And so this goes down here, pulls the value from the dice bonus, and we add up everything so we can figure out what is our total, our dice total. And then we also pull in our difficulty from here. This is where I finalize the display, the string that I have so far, and then I send the rest to the roller, which if you remember yesterday's video, that was in this file. And the rest of this just goes through and does the roll. The damage, it's very similar to the attack. It's almost the same as the attack. The only difference is that the damage usually doesn't have a skill in this one. And I'm basing this off of typical World of Darkness stuff. It doesn't have a skill. If I needed a skill, cool, I just scoot this over and I add a skill in here, and then I pull in the rest of the code. Actually, at that point, I might move that code to its own Lua file, and so I don't have to double up code anymore. And that way they could just go and ping that Lua file and do the rest. Some of this might actually be okay to throw into a Lua file, but right now this is how it is, and maybe I'll update it later when working on more game systems. This is my action sheet. It's very simple. I have the header, I have the content, nothing major to it. My content sheet, I need to add locking to it. I forgot to do that. So all these fields do need to lock down when you throw the lock. But I have my labels, of course, to show the attack, a damage, my resource. Here's my resource field. And that is what all is controlled. There is no special coding in here. These two fields, they are just filling out on initialization from the skill list. And the rest are just collecting data so I can use them later. The coolest thing here was being able to use this field, which is the link that links to this content, to get all my data. I don't have to display every single value that I need to use in my current role. I could just click attack and it goes into there, grabs what it needs, goes back over to my character sheet, grabs what it needs from that, and then it rolls from there. I think this looks a lot cleaner than I've seen it done, or I have previously made it before, and I hope you do too. And like I said earlier, yeah, this looks a little off, and this is probably because I'm utilizing a lot of this custom anchoring, and I think the window list detail pieces get a little weird. I tried to do a frame around this, but the frame kept on getting cut off, and I found by just doing a solid color background, it didn't matter if it got cut off because it's going to get cut off in a square. So when we get back over here, it still looks right, and maybe I could scoot it up just a little bit to get it a little bit more even in the middle. But I'll worry about that probably when I go into production with whatever game system I'm working on. The color or the look might even change completely. But by having them anchored, when I stretch the window, the name stretches with it, so it will move, and the background gets wider as we go. So that's helpful for here, but it's going to be helpful for later, and I can't wait to show you what I've got for tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed that. Like I said, I have more that I'm doing with this, and I will have that video released tomorrow. You could probably already guess what I'm doing with it, and if you've downloaded the file and opened it, you might have already seen what I'm doing with it. So yeah, those are your teasers, but I can't wait to show you officially tomorrow what it looks like, and hopefully I can have the last pieces of code cleaned up. After that, I'm doing basically just general cleanup to this, so the project is pretty much done. I need to add locking on this, as I saw. That was a potential problem. And there was a few more just little things I left behind, but I will probably have one more video after tomorrow's to show you, okay, here's the last pieces of the project. Anyways, until tomorrow, keep gaming and keep developing.